Here we are. Olivia Smoliga, welcome to the podcast. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you, Brett, for having me. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Now, listen, I'm very appreciative of this because I don't get many Georgia or Florida swimmers come onto my podcast. You know why?
Why?
I don't know. I mean, you tell me.
I have no idea.
What's the hang up?
Maybe, huh? I don't know. I don't know. I'm happy to pave the way though. If I'm the first, hopefully some will follow.
I appreciate it. Listen, I've
Okay.
been tracking down Jack Bauerle for a while. I think what I need to do is I need to just fly down to Georgia and pin him and in his office and just set up a camera and get him because I think Jack is one of the all-time greats. A lot of people talk about, the greatest coaches of all time, and Eddie Reese is one of the first names that come up, but I don't understand why Jack Bauerle isn't in that same conversation. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah. I mean, I would say he's in that conversation. I think maybe just the legacy that Texas men swimming and diving has created over the years is incredible. But yeah, you definitely have to track down Jack. You have to get him on deck and just put the camera right in his face because he's a busy man. He's called the mayor of Athens for a reason. So, you know,
Yeah.
yeah, he's definitely up with the greats. I would say 100%.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. He's been there, I don't know, what is it now, like 45, 6, 7 years. It's been there a long
Yeah.
time, right? And then
Mhm.
think of the influences that he's had. Think of the people that have gone on to become whatever they've become in life because of Jack, but also think of the number of Olympians that he's had. I mean, it's just ridiculous the influence that he's had on American swimming, really.
Yeah, and it's cool too because at a lot of programs, and Georgia's no exclusion, a lot of great swimmers out of high school will come and swim to Georgia as they do at many programs. But I think what is really special about Jack is that he will have swimmers come in that are okay from high school, and the way that he molds them into being greater than themselves is something that I think is almost immeasurable. You'll have a walk-on who makes SECs, who then makes NCAAs at the last chance meet. It's just this the trust that he has, and knowing that through all the hard work that the swimmers do at Georgia, he just has this really great belief that it's possible for them. And so I'm just lucky enough to have been a part of a little bit of his incredible legacy.
Yeah. All right, do this. Give Georgia some love. Okay, you chose Georgia for a reason. Let's start with Georgia right now. You spent what 8 years there or something. You made a couple of Olympics, world championships. Had a tremendous amount of success at Georgia. So, talk to me about what makes that program so great. Why did you choose to go there in the first place?
Yeah, like I mentioned just a little bit earlier, I think what makes Georgia so great is its coaching staff, first and foremost. Like I said, the way that Jack and the rest of the coaching staff are able to take swimmers' work ethic as the top priority in order to attain success. Because swimmers can come in and they're okay, or they're walk-ons, like I said, and then they're able to drop significant amounts of time, make conference, make NCAAs. And I think that's a testament to just that culture, as well as a great balance. It's a great balance of that. You're no better than the next man who you're training with. And also you had incredible studs there too. So it's like you have this balance. It's almost a paradox, but you want to continue to get better because you have Olympians on deck or Olympians in the history of the program. You have national championship banners hanging up on the pool deck that you see every single day. So it's a different type of aura than I was used to coming out of high school, because my high school team was super small. The highest we finished at our high school state was fourth place. And I just always wanted to jump in the pool with a trophy. And I was able to do that at Georgia. And I can't show them enough love. Not only was I able to be a national champion there individually and as a team, to make two Olympic teams under that program over the 8 years, like you said, is so cool. And I definitely am reflective on it when I get asked. And yeah, I think that's just a testament to the team and and the dreams that collectively we had, not only as a college program, but then when we were a postgraduate program. I would argue that we had one of the best in the country. It was like 10 of us going into 2020. So
yeah, absolutely. You guys performed outstandingly too. So, well, what about you? What is it about you that they were able to get the best out of you? What are the qualities that make you who you are, you think?
Well, I think when I committed, I definitely am not the person I am today. I think that has everything to do with, growth, maturity, hopefully just going through the ups and downs of sport. And as you just get older, you just grow in that way. But I think, like I had mentioned, my drive and desire to be in Georgia was when Jack and Brian had come to visit me on a recruiting trip, then Steph Williams shortly after came and visited and said that they are a national championship winning team, that they create Olympians. And that was just super enticing to me. So it brought out the best in me because they saw my potential and they believed that I could reach it. And, you can believe in yourself all day, 24/7. But I think it's also important. The reason why we have coaches is to bring it out more in you. And that's what they did for me. So, and on top of all of that, it was just, you had to show up like at practice every day. Like the women's team at Georgia, when I was a freshman, I only heard stories, before I was a freshman, about how cutthroat they were. I mean, like the women at Georgia did not play around. And Melanie Margalis was a senior when I was a freshman. And then the sophomores when I was a freshman were Brittany McLean, Haley Flickener, Annie Zhu. And these are just workhorses. So you couldn't, just be like, yeah, I want to make the Olympics and, just think about it. You had to be about it. So
Yeah, I was going to say that. I mean, a lot of people talk about wanting to be in an environment like that, but you actually thrived in that environment. It brought out the Olympian in you. It brought out the best in you. So was that something you noticed in yourself before you got to Georgia, that you were craving that type of environment, that higher level of I mean, is there something again that the way that you were raised, is there something about your childhood that helped you thrive in that environment?
So I definitely thought that I wanted to be about it. But when it came down to it, it was a challenge every day. I remember my freshman year, as I hadn't trained long course in high school. I hadn't lifted much. I did plyo, band, dry land type of stuff, but I'd never actually Olympic lifted, hadn't done long course. So, I mean, I came in thinking that I was really that girl, and I was at the end of the lane for 3 months, I think, at the beginning of the season, my freshman year. And I had moments like that throughout my college career. So, I mean, through my childhood or how I was raised, especially, I think my parents always instilled in me that you have to work hard in order to be successful. There's no shortcuts to that. But everything is also perspective, and how you feel is subjective. So I thought I was working hard before I came to Georgia. Right. I thought I was really grinding before I did, because that's all that I knew. But when I came to Georgia, it was just a wake-up call, and I was like, if I could give myself any advice then that I know now, it would be to just try to stay in my lane as much as possible and compare myself to myself as opposed to the girls who are, because it was a 200, 500 program, still is, but I was really trying to compare myself and compete to those girls who were just crushing threshold sets, for example, or IM sets, for example, where I should have just compared myself to 17-year-old Olivia and then just kept going at my own pace. But I think it also catapulted me into, the opposite catapulted me into being able to kind of like have, in my, what's it like, portfolio or whatever, so.
Yeah. What about the
Yeah.
speed balance there? I mean, you talk about it being a 200, 500 focus. I mean, but you're a speedster, you're a sprinter, let's say, in a program that's more middle distance based. So how were you able to thrive and get what you needed? Was there a particular person that you trained under at Georgia?
Yeah, so I trained with Brian Smith throughout my college career, and that was sprint group. And who I trained with, Chantel Van Landingham, Maddie Locus, Chelsea Britt after she had transferred, and they were all incredible training partners. But yeah, I was not in the middle distance, so at that time. And yeah, I think sprint group grew as I was in college because I think I probably not, I don't know if impolitely demanded that we do like more buckets or, more sprint stuff, but I was young and, I think, but I had an incredible relationship with Brian, and I miss him to this day. But I think, when I was a freshman and sophomore, I wanted to do more sprint stuff, and then we ended up doing it. The program evolved as I did. I mean, I feel like it always evolves. It evolves, every year with the new wave of people who come in. But yeah, I was in sprint group for 4 years.
Cool. What about now, when you're reflective on where you're at in your career now? What part of your career are you at? I mean, you talked about that freshman girl who didn't really know much, who had an attitude type thing, but where are you right now, you think?
Yeah, I definitely had an attitude. I like, where am I right now? I mean, I think I'm trying to challenge myself, and grow, I guess.
What is it that you haven't achieved? I mean, you're a world champion multiple times over. You're an Olympian. You've won Olympic medals, all sorts of things. I mean, you're NCAA champion. So it's like, what else are you trying to achieve?
I think what I'm trying to achieve is, I feel like I have a high standard for myself and what I want to achieve. I want to qualify in individual events. I want to be successful in those individual events. I feel like I know what I'm capable of, and I want to see if I can do it. So I have achieved a lot, but I just want more. I think as long as I'm healthy and I'm able to set new goals and see if I can reach them and surround myself with people who can help me reach them, that's like what I'm going to do.
We individualize training in the pool, so why not individualize your nutrition? Erica Beine of Beine Wellness Building will help you and your swimmers get exactly what each athlete needs through genetic testing and personalized nutrition plans. So stop guessing what you should and shouldn't be putting into your body. Athletes within a few weeks have noticed they're recovering faster because they're fueling their body with what they need and staying away from what their body hates. Erica understands swimming. She gets it. She's worked with over 20 Olympians, including the fastest man in the world, Caleb Dressel. Group discounts are available, so go to Beine Wellness Building and get in touch with Erica today. That's Beine, Beine, wellnessbuilding.net. Is that part of that change then to ASU of like, okay, I need something fresh. I need to kind of be stimulated in a different way to maybe reignite, this passion, these goals?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it changing and moving to ASU has given me really fresh perspective, and I feel like a kid again, because it's just all new, and I'm just like, every practice I have not seen, Swimming is swimming, of course, but it's different. Like, I get to really be stimulated in so many different ways because I'm just not used to it. So I'm really like just learning new things every day, which is just awesome.
Are you training under Bob Bowman specifically, primarily there?
Yeah, primarily with Bob, and I've had some sprinkled in power practices with Rachel and the girls there.
Oh, that's interesting. You mentioned Rachel Stratton-Mills. She doesn't get a lot of love and attention because there's this Bob Bowman program, right? But so
Yeah.
it's like, talk to me about Rachel. What makes her so great?
She's incredible. Yeah. I mean, I knew Rachel actually way back 2011. She was a coach at Junior Worlds in Peru.
Right.
And so I kind of knew what she was about. She's just a kind of like a no BS person. And she's very, I mean, obviously, all the coaches I've worked with are smart, but she's just very technically sound, as the whole program at ASU is, in terms of giving me pointers and things. Like I said, I haven't heard before or maybe forgotten about, and they've been reintroduced to me. But she's amazing. I love swimming under her. And yeah, I hope she gets great credit because she's an amazing coach, and I'm really happy to be able to work with her too.
Does she get a chance there to write her own workouts, and so that you know that that's kind of a distinct workout of hers?
Yeah. So when I do power, it's written by her.
Right. I feel like I got some noise in the background. I don't know what's going on outside my house right now.
Good.
That's all right. What else about the change that has been refreshing for you? Anything else?
Yeah, I've been on a lot of teams in my career, and this team is amazing as well, just as the teams I've been on. But they're very humble and hardworking and just cool. I think they're just really cool people. And so it's just awesome to kind of just go to practice and be around that energy, and you're going to just show up and do your work, and like, it's awesome. And being able to train outside, it really feels like just bliss, like every day, even if I'm hurting bad.
Well, you've come from a program where there's been, that men and women in the program. Do you do better training with men, with women, or do you like the combination?
I like the combination. Yeah, I mean, I think it's great to have men and women training together. I loved it at Georgia. And here at ASU, I'm training predominantly with the men there. And Haley Fliggener is in that group. Sometimes Erica Lanning, Pac-12 champ in the 500, will be in that group too. And then I have Rachel's group with those girls as well. I like the balance. I like different environments, but yeah, I like training with guys.
Right. What about this, this idea that you've had incredible success, short course, like as a world champion? Like, when are we going to get you to become a world champion and Olympic champion long course? Is that something that's been difficult for you, that transition from the short to long? Has it been more difficult to see equal success, is what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a really great question. I mean, exactly how you said, what else am I striving for in my career? I would like to think that making those two, short course and long course, equal would be nearly at the top of my list, because short course I just thrive on, and I love it. I'm learned to love long course. I mean, I've been training it now, I guess, closer to 10 years or so with long course, because like I said, I didn't really in high school. But yeah, did you ask if I like it?
Yeah, I mean, I guess what are the areas of improvement then? Like, you've figured out the short course in ways that you've had success at the highest level, like winning world titles. And what I'm saying now is, like, what's missing from kind of the winning the world title at the Olympics, let's say, winning the Olympic Games in the 100 backstroke.
Yeah. I mean, I think that comes with resetting goals, restructuring. Like, if this isn't working, then we should try something else, which is, and not isn't working, it just hasn't maybe gotten to where I would like it to be. And I think that's a reason for change as well. It's a reason, you know, I'd like to gain fresh perspective. And yeah, you can expect to do things you haven't done before, doing the same things you've been doing. So
Right. What's your best time in the 100 freestyle long course?
53.5.
Okay, so one of the compliments that the Australian women get is that they're tall and they're, you know, kind of, they're all tall and fast and lanky and that kind of thing. And then when I think of you as someone in that boat, so it's like, do you think 52 or even, you know, 52 low where some of those Australian girls are at? Do you think that's a possibility for you? Are you thinking freestyle?
Yeah, I'm thinking freestyle. I'm thinking that's a possibility. Yeah, I see those girls, Kate, Bronte, as tall as they are, strong as they are. That's another goal of mine, is to just get stronger, to be able to do that, because I mean, if you see Kate also swim like an ISL, I mean, that's just like what I was thinking about last season. She's pulling like crazy. I mean, she's got an incredible stroke. It's like things like that too. I think that comes with gaining strength.
Has that been a weakness of yours, you think? Like, have you spent a lot of time in the weight room just emphasizing, you know, a season of strength?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm in the weight room 3 times a week. But I think especially this season, I'm working a bit more on upper body things and strengthening.
Nice, nice. And do you like pull-ups?
I don't like them. I do them, yeah.
What do you think are your strengths right now? Like, what are you really good at? I mean, obviously, underwaters are something that come a little bit natural to you. Is that correct?
Yeah, I am super fortunate for my underwaters and my kick. Oops, slipping. I'm super fortunate for my underwaters and kick to be where they're at, because I think growing up throughout club and like the basic kind of like foundation was instilled in me through club. Was my focusing on my underwaters and focusing on my kick. My strength is definitely my kick. Like if I'm in backstroke, I'm kick dominant, which is probably a reason why my short courses been successful, is because of my underwaters. And that's what short courses changed to. I mean, you see Coleman Stewart going to 15 on every single wall, and he's gotten the world record in short course meters. But yeah, you only have one wall in long course, and obviously, but so yeah, I think, but I don't think my kick is any less strong long course. I just have to have my arms, catch up to
equally strong. Yeah. Backstroke's one of those super competitive worldwide races right now, the 100 back especially. But even in America, do you notice the young girls coming up all around you?
Oh yeah, I notice it every year, and that's, I think, what comes with sprint events too. 100 fly, the 100 back, the 100 free are always going to be very competitive. I've always had, within tenths between my competitors and I in that event. And that's what continues to raise the bar in swimming. And that's what continues to push myself, and I would assume my competitors as well, and those who are to come, that this is the level right now. So let's push it again. This is the level now. Let's go. Let's try to make it even better the next time. Like, that's just how swimming is going to be, though. So my events are competitive, but so are all other events. I would think sprint maybe events. Yeah, like the men's 100 free is like stacked too. So.
Listen, you've had a lot of success. Don't get me wrong. I mean, your resume is super impressive. So in terms of performing under pressure, what is it about you that you do well when it counts the most?
I think that's been a learning process for me in terms of pressure. I like to think that I don't let the pressure get to me, but then at the end of the day, maybe has, like at Olympic trials, for example, trying to make your second Olympic team, and what pressures come with that, and have you really, you know, centered yourself and just taken it one race at a time and just kind of balanced out your emotional energy. That's something I think that I am still learning about. But in terms of the pressure when it comes to racing in front of a crowd and feeding off that energy too is also something that I enjoy. So I think it just depends, and you want to try to find that sweet spot and the thing that works for you. But yeah, I mean,
we don't get many moments to practice that, right? Like
yeah.
in a situation like any normal Olympics is a huge crowd, but the Olympic trials is a big crowd. Like there's not normally that type of atmosphere for us. So do you do anything outside of the pool? Do you talk to a psychologist or anything like that in terms of preparing yourself for moments like that?
Yeah, I talked to a psychologist after the summer, and he was super helpful. I have used, you know, meditation apps and stuff like that to kind of, you know, focus in on the present moment and to not get overwhelmed by the external events around me. But yeah, I still practice, I think, meditation in a way, just with breath work and box breathing too, which I enjoy. But I also think that one of the biggest factors in success under high pressure situations is putting in the work to be to not have any questions when it comes to the big stage. So it's like, you know, I did what I did. There's nothing else that I can do in this moment, you know? So that I think is one of the biggest kind of lessons throughout my career. It's, yeah, when you take away like everything else and all these, you know, calm apps and stuff like that, like if you put in the work, there should be no question when you go behind the blocks.
Swim Angelfish. Swim Angelfish is an online certification program that strengthens your teaching curriculum to serve swimmers of all abilities. Swim Angelfish will prepare you and your instructors with the skills to teach swimmers with autism, physical disabilities, anxiety, sensory and motor conditions, and more. Learn to teach skills faster and with more comfort with Swim Angelfish. Apply for an Only Alpha Pool Product Scholarship and receive up to 50% off your certification. Go to swimangelfish.com today to apply. Right. It's the preparation that you ultimately fall back on, huh?
Yeah. I don't know what you think, like when you were swimming and stuff, like, did you feel the same way?
Yeah, look, listen, I appreciate you asking that. Put me on the spot there. I had to really think now. You're right. Like pressure is intense, and I guess like you don't notice until sometimes you're out of it. Like when you're in it, you don't really notice that you're under pressure. You'll just be doing things,
Yeah.
and maybe from people on the outside will notice certain things that you're doing. But I did like I struggle to eat on race day. Like for me on a big race, I'm not talking just generally, but on big races where the pressure was on, I really struggled to eat. And so I had to like force food into my system just to get enough energy to be able to compete. That was always a struggle for me.
Same at Olympic trials, before the 100 free, I couldn't eat. Like everything like smelled like crazy. You know, my senses were so heightened.
Yeah.
And no, I was the same way. You just try to eat a banana, try to eat some sort of like oatmeal just to sustain yourself. But yeah, that pressure is high for sure.
Yeah, especially in the sprint events when it's coming down to hundreds of seconds.
Yeah.
One of the things that I did that separated me, I guess, later in my career, when I ended up swimming for Australia for a period of 6 years straight, I qualified for every Australian team for 6 years, and before that, I couldn't make an Australian team. But and I tell people this all the time. It was this decision that I made to put myself in a winning position, and it's very difficult when you're dealing in sprint events that deal with hundreds of seconds for you to say that I've decided to win. Most people can't really fathom that, but you know, like I was always going into the race hoping that I hope I can finish first or second. You know, I had this hope. And when I made a decision to quit with hope and make a decision like this is going to happen, I'm winning this race. And I'm talking more on the national side of things. You know, when I was competing on the Australian scene, is like I made a decision to win races, and it changes your mindset completely when you make that decision. You know, instead of saying, well, any one of these girls could win, you walk up to the block saying to yourself, I'm winning this race, everyone else is swimming for second. And I think when you have that kind of shift in mentality, it enables you to compete at your highest level, you know?
Yeah. I
That's what
really
I
like
felt.
that. Yeah, I like
Yeah.
that. It's like shifting from like hope to like faith, I guess, you know, faith, just like the mentality switch.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
Full faith.
you've done the work, and you know you're good enough, and it kind of cuts out all those doubts, you know, in the end of like, when you have doubt, you have uncertainty, you know, and then when you have uncertainty, you have a real nervousness, you know, you don't have confidence. What I wanted to walk behind the blocks with was just pure confidence. And so I put myself in a mindset of like, I'm winning this race and everyone else is swimming for second, you know?
Yeah, I like that for sure.
Yeah, it's difficult. What about this? Something that interests me. You know, you were one of the biggest stars in swimming, but you chose a sponsor, a swimsuit sponsor that may not be the biggest name. Like Finis, for the outside looking in, is like, well, you could have gone with a Speedo or an Arena or a Tier, but you went with Finis. Why did you decide to make that decision ultimately?
You know, I made that decision because I felt very connected to that company when I
Mm-hmm.
first signed. I believe it was 2018. So I was fresh
Mm-hmm.
off of graduating, and I believe we signed in like May or
Right.
June,
Mm-hmm.
and or 2017. 2017.
Yeah.
And so yeah, you know, it was interesting, you know, looking back too, because they didn't have a suit that I was sure that I liked wearing. But
Yeah.
they were very persistent in their promises that they're coming out with an amazing suit. And I stayed, you know, I stuck with it,
Mm-hmm.
I believed in that, and they did. They came out with their suits, Rival 2.0,
Mm-hmm.
and it's an incredible suit, and I love it. I love racing in it. And yeah, they have supported me, you know, throughout these past 5 years now,
Mm.
in such a such a great way that I just love them as a company.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I mean, ultimately, you've got to feel comfortable in your suit. And it was just
Yeah.
to me, just looking at that, I was like, well, there must be something that she feels really good about this suit because, I mean, ultimately, that's your, you know, the vehicle that's going to get you to where you want to be. You've got to compete in that thing, you know, so it's got to be comfortable.
Yeah, it's great.
Awesome. Awesome. What about the ISL? I mean, you've had some incredible experience with the Cali Condors. I mean, it just seems like there's a lot of uncertainty now. Are you planning on swimming ISL this next season?
It's hard to say. The differing schedules that have come out have been a whirlwind for the athletes. Because, you know, obviously COVID year taught us to kind of roll with the punches. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. And, you know, you kind of have to be ready no matter what. And that taught us that. And that's incredible. I think, yeah, like I said, we're like ready for anything with that. But now with the schedules being so close, you know, it's like there's an ISL match that's supposed to happen beginning of June. The U.S. team is slated to like leave for camp, I think, the following week or two after.
Yeah.
And it's hard, I think, for myself personally to have a short course focus as I'm getting ready for a long course meet. Maybe to others it's no problem, and that's cool. But as I'm focusing in on world championships, which I think the swimmers are also grateful that they're happening, You kind of want to balance both, because ISL was like one of the coolest swimming experiences that I have been able to be a part of. I'm so grateful that we had that opportunity to experience something so different and so exciting and so much fun for the sport. But now with all the uncertainty with schedule changes and different rules and stuff like that, I think the majority of swimmers that I've talked to are also uncertain.
Yeah, and me too. I've heard that from a lot of people. They're just unsure, and I think if that uncertainty is there, what I fear is that the ISL will go away. You know, because I agree with you. It's been incredibly refreshing to have a pro tournament. You know, that real pro athletes can go to and compete at, and try and win titles, and compete as a team. But I also see where it's coming to a point where no one's on the same page and no one really knows what's happening. So I'm fearful that the thing could just disappear, and then we're back to, well, what do we have for pro swimmers,
Right. Yeah, I know. I mean, like, and I totally can understand and see from ISL's perspective that this would be the 4th year, and they're, I'm sure, doing the best that they can to make everyone happy and to continue it on. So, excuse me, by trying different things in order to continue its success is just, it's new to us too. So we're just trying to kind of balance between something that's new, that's been so fun for us, and also something that's kind of steady with FINA. So it's an interesting balance, but yeah, I mean, the team atmosphere of being in ISL, the best swimmers in the world competing for this league, and kind of going all in on it right from the jump, that I think is a testament to how incredible ISL is. But now with the uncertainty of schedule changes and people not being on the same page, it's like, yeah, it might be challenging, but I hope for its continued success.
Yeah, me too. Listen, Paris obviously isn't that far away, and that's going to be a focus. But LA's in 28. Is that a reality for you think?
I don't know, man. I'm trying to take it one step at a time, 1 minute at a time, So 2028, how old will I be? So I'm going to be like 34.
Yeah.
That's, who knows, yeah, maybe I'll be an announcer in 2028. Maybe they'll let me behind the mic or something like that. I definitely want to stay in the swimming atmosphere for as long as I can. It's blessed me with so much. But yeah, we're trying to do 1 meet at a time here, Brett, so yeah.
I was going to say that, but I'm not asking you to be thinking about what you're doing after this, but is there any passions outside of swimming? Is there any plans that you'd have for your own life beyond swimming?
Not that I've thought of thus far. I think in this sport, everybody's different. I think in any profession that you choose, any life path that you choose, I believe that you should be have your focus primarily on that thing, on that task at hand. That's not to say you shouldn't have hobbies or think about other things, I guess, but swimming's been in the forefront of my mind, and that's kind of where I'm at, and I'm too tired to have any other hobbies. I think if I feel energy enough on a Sunday to go to the farmer's market, that's a win for me. But I like to sleep, eat, and swim.
Yeah, no, I get that. Who takes care of your nutrition? How do you get the fuel that you need?
Oh, you're looking at her right here, Chef Olivia. But no, I have incredible doctors and nutritionists that I work with that help me kind of make sure that I'm balanced in the nutrients that I'm getting, the minerals that I'm getting. If I'm lacking in something, let's say you do a blood work test, If I'm lacking in like iron or omegas or something like that, then I will supplement myself that way. But that doesn't come from me. I cook for myself, and but I definitely have amazing guideline and outline from the people that I'm able to work with.
Do you have a go-to meal that you like to cook?
A go-to meal, I just made it. I made a breakfast burrito. So I'll put hash browns, egg, avocado, Greek yogurt, tomato, sriracha, beans. And then a go-to meal at night, I'll do white rice as always. Like, but you know, the pre-made packets you can put for like 90 seconds in the microwave. It's so easy.
Keep it simple.
Just keep it simple. And like salmon and a salad, I think is like one of my just go-tos.
Yeah. Well, listen, I appreciate you doing this. Thanks again. Like I said, it's been difficult to get the Georgia and Florida swimmers, so you're breaking the ice for me, and hopefully we can open it up. But I appreciate that. Nice to get to know you more, and then good luck in the future. I'm a big fan, and I want success for you. So good luck. All right.
Thank you so much. Best of luck with this podcast. It's awesome.
Thanks a lot. All right. Stay there for a second.
Sure thing.
Vasa has been the go-to training tool outside of the pool for over 30 years. Vasa's products are ideal for developing power and proper technique in your swimmer's catch. Add a few Vasa trainers to your pool deck, and it's like adding an extra lane to your swimming pool. Go to vasatrainer.com, use code BREAD at checkout, and get 10% off anything from Vasa. Destro Swim Towers. Gain strength in the water with a tower of power. Save $150 per double swim tower by using code BRETT, B-R-E-T-T, at checkout. DestroMachines.com.